over a month, I'm going to meet Johhny, my Asian prince boyfriend from China, for the first time.
Kids that watch anime are such losers, dude, I swear.
I'm a loser.
This American girl, Ella, has a fetish for guys that resemble a samurai with the fox demon inside of them. So this girl's type is basically Naruto mixed with Kenshin. Now, because this guy doesn't exist in real life, she decided to settle by dating this Chinese guy named Johhny, and he has a Western girl fetish.
What the hell is even that?
This girl reminds me of Amberlynn Reed and Becky, especially from those videos where they try Japanese snacks.
We are American, and we love the Japanese culture, so we figured, let's try some more snacks.
Like Amberlynn Reed and Becky, this girl's a big fan of Japanese culture, but she has a problem with lumping all Asians in the same boat. Meanwhile, we're all looking at each other like, yo, China and Japan are not the same place. However, a positive about Ella is that she's the first weeb to ever be on the show 90 Day Fiancé, so she's making history, but she's not a great representation of our community. She seems like one of those weebs that Naruto walked through the halls in school as a kid. Ella's 29 years old and she's from Idaho. When we first see her, she's in bleached cosplay and she's hitting a practice dummy with a samurai sword in her backyard. Ella says she really enjoys cosplay and embodying the character that she takes on. I think it's actually really cool to have a cosplayer on the show. I've been to 3 anime conventions and I absolutely love them. I've been watching anime, reading manga, and reading light novels since I was a kid. My favorite light novels right now are God Asura and Tales of Demons of God. For sure, there's going to be a large percentage of people watching this video that don't watch anime, so I'm going to try and be the middleman because there's going to be certain things that Ella does that you guys don't understand. To really dumb it down, there's 2 types of anime fans. There's people like Ella that Naruto run through the halls in school and are perceived as really weird. And then there's also the ones that pretend to be normal or like act somewhat normal. And then they take out all their aggression in League of Legends chat when they get home.
Stop streaming! I cannot stream this game anymore!
Ella's in her backyard practicing her sword skills, and it reminds me of this video that I watched of Big Ed playing with the katana. It's just like these kind of people that play with swords that if they were actually on a battlefield, they would get dursted so quick. Ella says her love and appreciation for Asian culture goes way beyond just anime. Next thing you know, Ella shows us her house, and it's like an MTV Cribs moment. Her house is purple on the outside, and when you walk in this girl's house, your eyes are going to be fixated on her dragon collection, also her anime posters that are plastered all over her wall. Ella says the reason that she gravitated towards the fantasy genre is because she wanted to escape her real life.
Totally normal. Totally normal.
Ella then informs the viewers that she struggled with being overweight since she was in kindergarten.
I hated going to school.
Nobody cares.
Don't feel bad. The majority of Americans are obese. There are times in my life where I've been too chunky. There are times in my life where I've been too skinny. Your body weight fluctuates. It depends on what you eat and how much you exercise. Ella says she hasn't dated much, but the relationship she has been in, she wasn't treated the way she believes she should have been treated. Ella admits that she wasn't having much luck dating in Idaho, so she decided to take this dating venture international.
My ideal man, it would probably be an exact blueprint of my favorite anime crush.
The land of make-believe.
Ella then describes her fantasy crush as having red hair, green eyes, and a fox demon inside of them. So Naruto, but with red hair. She then says, but in real life, he's gotta be Asian. She proceeds to play a clip of an old samurai movie and say that she's always been infatuated by samurai, their skin tone, the way that they look, their aura, their swordsmanship. It's always been turning her on. She seems like she fingers herself to The Last Samurai. Great movie with Tom Cruise. So I'm actually gonna do something that I don't normally do. I live in Hawaii and my entire apartment complex is Japanese people. I think honestly there's 3 white people in my building. So Ella, let me know if you want me to, you know, do the rounds and see if I can find a single Japanese dude here. Ella, while talking about Asian people, says, oh, I love everything about them. She then informs the viewers that she found a social media page called Asian Men, White Women, and that's where she found her Asian prince. My advice to this girl is you might want to ease up on the whole Asian thing. It seems like you're so fixated on the race of people that you're not really crediting the man that you're with, because you're not even saying the dude's name, you're just saying my Asian prince. I've actually noticed that a lot of people that grow up in the Midwest have a bad habit of talking about ethnicities in this specific way, and I think that stems from not growing up in a very diverse community. Like, I grew up in Las Vegas. I've grown up with a lot of Polynesian and Asian friends because there's a huge percentage of Hawaiians that are living in Vegas. They're not my friends because they're Pacific Islanders or Asians. They're my friends because they're almost as funny as me and I enjoy their company. See what I did there? Almost funny. Ella says something like Johhny has the best smile ever, and then TLC actually zooms in on his teeth and you can see that his teeth aren't, you know, perfect. And I just want to say to them, That was foul. We're already throwing shots at Johhny. That was a dirty edit, and I thought that was pretty funny, actually. Johhny actually suffers from a rare condition called too much swagger. Look at this dude. Another day at the office for this king. Glasses on the head and a stylish sweater vest. This picture says, I crush numbers and puss.
Johhny and I have surprisingly a lot in common. I'm like this Western girl, you know, who has this Asian obsession. He's kind of like an Asian man who has a Western culture obsession.
That's not the same!
Guys, the Western culture obsession is him in a picture with a bunch of guns in the background. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't want to be technical or anything, but if you want a fair representation of America, Johhny needs a picture of a school too, you know, because the quiet kids be dropping 20 bombs.
Too soon?
She also tells us that her and Johhny have been officially dating for 6 months, but they've been talking for a year and a half, and she thinks that he really is the one.
In just over a month, my incredible boyfriend Johhny will be flying over from China to meet me for the very first time. In person.
Ella says that she would be down to visit Johhny in China, but due to travel restrictions, she's not allowed to do that. In episode 4, Ella reveals to the audience that Johhny is quitting his job and he's planning on spending a couple months with her in Idaho. She says that her and Johhny are soulmates and they belong together, and in order to manifest their love, she's doing witchcraft in her backyard with a couple of friends.
Why?
Now I cast a sacred circle from east to west and north to south, guided by spirit to manifest. I call upon Mother Moon and Father Sun.
Alright, quick question. Is everybody in Idaho fat? Like, dead ass? I haven't seen one physically fit person from her segment. I'm not really surprised though, because I hear the food in Idaho is really bad and there's a lot of processed foods. My friend Alex lives there and he says that the food is trash when he came to visit me in California. Ella informs the audience that she's been Wiccan since college and her friend is in a coven. Her friend's name is Virginia, so, you know, you love to see the people that are named after states. They do exist. These are the kind of girls that date dudes and leave voodoo dolls around their place or under their pillow, and the guys find it and they're like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna have you make some moon water, some new moon water. Just fill it with some purified water, put it in the windowsill. Make sure you take it out before the sun hits it. It'll change its properties.
Later in the episode, we learn more about Ella's upbringing. She grew up on a farm and she hopes that her and Johhny can one day take over the farm together. Now, I don't think Ella properly communicated this to Johhny because Johnny's under the assumption that farm life is going to be a relatively small part of their life, but it's in fact going to be a big part of their life because her dream is for them to run this farm together, and this guy from China has no experience on a farm. Even though he wants to be a cowboy, I feel like he's gonna be a fish out of water once he gets there, and I'm honestly looking forward to him herding cattle or whatever she's gonna make him do. It's gonna be really funny. I worked as a farmhand in Montana for like 1 week, and it was the worst job ever, but to be honest with you, I loved early morning, like with the animals, watching the sunrise come up. It was actually a huge vibe. The only thing that I didn't like about the job is all the shit that you have to shovel is so
Disgusting shit.
In episode 3, later in the episode, Ella meets up with her friends at Chili's or whatever dog shit restaurant they ate at in Idaho. When everybody's eating, they start talking about the fact that Ella's friend is married to a guy from Thailand, and Ella takes offense to this because she says that dating Asian men is her thing.
It's good to see you. I missed you. I've known Corby since high school, and she is my best friend. I definitely give a lot of respect and love to her because she has been super duper supportive every time I got my heart broke.
Yo, Corby kind of looks like that dude from Eastbound and Down. I honestly thought she was a dude at first because I'm not used to seeing the short hair on girls. Finished Tiger King yesterday. Anyone wondering what I'm doing with my hair? I'm making a mullet. I'm finally committing. This is everything I've ever worked for in my entire life.
We gotta make some good food for Johhny. He's gonna miss being in China.
Yeah, you and Pao are gonna be like really awesome for that. Who's Pao?
Oh, he's my husband.
Oh.
He was born in Thailand, so he's Asian.
He was born in Thailand, so he's Asian. Nick was born in the United States, so he's white. Pretty ballsy of you two to assume that Johhny even wants to be friends with Pao. Just because they're both Asian doesn't confirm that they fucked with each other's vibes. Poor Johhny just wants to be a cowboy, baby.
Corby, if she's not an anime person, she's like not into any of this Asian stuff, and that's what I gave her when they got married and stuff. I was like, dude, like what the heck? You didn't like Asians, that's my thing.
They don't want you back.
I'll be honest, when this is all happening, I have a surprise Pikachu face on because she says so many dumb things about Asian people and Asian cultures in general. Her friend doesn't watch anime and she's married to a guy from Thailand. Anime is Japanese. There's a huge difference between having an appreciation for a culture and having a fetish for a culture. And actually I need to correct myself because I said fetish for a culture. What she has is a fetish for a race. But from the way she speaks, it seems like she doesn't understand that not all Asian people belong to the same culture.
Where does Johhny live? Johhny lives
Shanghai.
in Shanghai. And Stoney, right, lives in Jinan. Gotcha.
Ella then informs the viewers that Johhny has a kid from a previous marriage named Stoney. I think this name is dope. I actually think of that song from Post Malone, Candy Paint, when he's like, bitch, I'm young Stoney, I do what I want.
He has full custody of Stoney, and mom kind of left completely because she already has another family.
Really? Mm-hmm. Dang.
That's actually kind of sad. I feel for Johhny and Stoney. It really sucks when somebody does that and they have kids and then they don't care about those kids, but then they move on with a new family and new kids, and then they really just love those kids and they post all these pictures on Facebook with their new family. Like, that shit is so fucked up because you should also love the kids that you had in the previous relationship. Even though the relationship didn't work out, that's still your baby.
Like, so sad that like he's not bringing him with him because I'm actually excited to be a mom. But we're just gonna focus on us for a while, and then once we establish a good foundation, then hopefully we'll get to bring Stoney over.
You're so in love with being in a relationship and you're so in love with the idea of being a mother that you have the blinders on like one of those horses in the horse races. These are my personal thoughts, guys. Feel free to disagree with me, but I think that before you bring a child into the world, you should be ready to bring a child into the world and make sure that that child can succeed in life. Everyone with kids in the United States knows that that shit is mad expensive. Why would you put yourself in a position where you can't succeed or it hinders your success by having children when you're not ready to take care of them?
The only thing that makes me suspicious about Johhny, it's him leaving his son for months. At least in my culture, you don't leave your child behind in another country and go to another country and be with someone else.
I think this is actually a good point that Ella's friends raised. I do think that that's a huge red flag to leave your kid and come over here. But I do want to say that I don't know if his parents are taking care of the kid. I know that in a lot of Asian cultures, the parents and the grandparents are very involved. But we don't know if that's the case. It's still too early to tell. And from the past, it seems like a lot of people that go on the show don't really give a shit about their children. It's one of those things where I struggle to believe he highly cares about his son if he's gonna leave for a long time to come over to the US to with an online relationship.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Do you think he's gonna propose while he's here?
I hope he does.
Wait, is that Nell from Bleach on her arm? Wait, zoom in on that. Actually looking closer at it, I don't think it's Nell from Bleach. That would have been sick if she had that tattoo because I'm a huge Bleach fan, so I would have gave her brownie points for that.
I love being with him. You do know that I've never been naked on video chat, and I have with him.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Ella drops the bomb on us that she shows herself naked to Johhny on video chat and touches her boobs and stuff, and she says that he really loves her boobs and he's gonna freak out when he sees them and gets to touch them in real life. So this next part when Ella speaks, it's copyrighted music that's playing in the background, so I'm gonna read what she said, and it's super awkward because it's about her sex life with Johhny, so let's just get into it. I feel like I'm doing one of those class presentations right now. Johhny and I actually have an interesting sex life. Our video chats are basically me playing with one of my big, beautiful boobs, and I get to watch his face make all these weird faces while he is touching himself. Then she gets all close and says to the camera, "I've even played with my vibrator." It's like too much info, you know, we didn't really ask for that, but they told us anyway. And then her friends go on to say that you think her dragon collection's crazy, you should see her vibrator collection. So I'm guessing Ella has a mad amount of dildos.
Just like her dragon collection, she's got the same with like her vibrator collection. Yeah.
And this might be me sharing too much info, but the visual of this I get is, you know that gif of that girl that gets hit with a bunch of hot dogs? I just always assume that every girl has a vibrator. If I was a girl, I would definitely have vibrators too. For dudes, it's more kind of lame because if you tell people you got a pocket pussy, it's like not as cool or not as accepted as a vibrator. That kind of means like, oh, you're not getting any like real life action.
I have in my pocket.
I'm worried about you because I feel like, you know, with the Indian guy that you met online, you know, you thought he was the one and you were really invested, you know? When you guys met in person, it was totally different than what he was even like online or on your text messages.
You guys, I'm willing to bet any amount of money right now that these girls don't know that India is a part of Asia. How much you want to bet? I bet $10,000 on it right now. Also, it's kind of funny that Ella did the same thing she's doing right now with Johhny with an Indian dude in her past. Like, you think you would learn that an online relationship is totally different than meeting in real life, but she's doing it twice.
I was in an online relationship with an Indian guy for about a year before we met in Thailand. I was in love with this guy, but then when we met in person, he refused to do anything sexual with me.
I wonder why.
Ella goes on to say that she thinks her and the Indian guy didn't have any chemistry and he wouldn't do anything sexually with her because of her weight, and that's really taken a toll on her self-esteem. My question to her is, did you send him pictures of what you look like in real life, or no? Did you just send a picture of your face and your shoulders? You know how people do that? Like, they'll kind of catfish because they won't show what they really look like or a real life representation of like their body. And then when he showed up, he saw what you really looked like and he was, you know, turned off. You can try to make it sound like that's all that dude's fault, but also I feel like I don't really think you were transparent with what you really looked like. And if you want someone to actually love you and accept you for you, you should probably be transparent with what you really look like. Now, I think you were transparent with what you really look like with Johhny, which is cool because he, you know, wants to help you live a healthier lifestyle, and that's the whole like point of your guys' segment. Ella goes on to say that the takeaway she learned from Indian guy is that she can't fully trust Johhny, and I'm just confused by this because like 2 seconds ago she was talking about having kids with him and having a house with him and all these things that they've already kind of determined that they're gonna do, but she doesn't trust him. Like, for me, it seems like she's so in love with this delusion of a good relationship and being a mother and all these things that she's really fantasizing every relationship that she's ever been in. And for her, I think that you should go on a couple dates at least before you start fantasizing or projecting your feelings onto your partner. When we first meet Johhny, the scenery they show of China looks so cool. Johhny also seems like a relatively chill guy and like he has a good sense of humor. He is in a full hazmat suit and he says, "Hey Ella, it's me, Johhny, your Asian prince."
"Hi Ella, your Asian prince Johhny is here. I'm so excited to meet you. I'm the alien from the outer space, from Mars."
It's like I've been saying, Johnny's too pure for this world. When I have children one day, I hope they are great men like Johhny. In fact, if he told me he was the Jade Emperor, I'd probably believe him. Johhny informs the viewers that nutrition, being physically fit, is very important to him, and the whole point of his journey is to propose to Ella. 1, 2, he wants to make sure that she lives a healthier lifestyle and can lose weight, and he actually goes and sees a Chinese internal medicine doctor.
就是他是美国人，就是我们再想一些办法帮他，就是。
And the Chinese doctor doesn't beat around the bush. He says that she's very fat. Now TLC didn't want to put she's very fat, so they put another title, but that's not what she really said, like the literal translation of Chinese. The doctor brings up a good point, and that's portion sizes. I'm sure everybody's aware that the portion sizes are really big in America compared to a lot of other nations.
My girlfriend Ella has a really beautiful face.
Johhny proceeds to ask the doctor's advice about which herbs could speed up the process of losing weight for his partner Ella. Johnny's the complete opposite of a feeder. He's the kind of man Tammy Slayton should be on the hunt for. You can tell this guy genuinely cares about Ella. A couple issues I'm finding is from the way Johhny compliments her face and her personality but not her body. I think she's under the impression he's more attracted to her body than he really is, and that could be an issue for when he actually touches down in the US. Also, he says something like, "I'm happy I'm her #1 Asian man." Maybe I'm on edge because the race card is so overplayed with this segment, but can't you just be her #1 man?
I'm most nervous about the ranch work at her family ranch. 哦，谢谢你。But I hope I become a redneck cowboy like yeehaw.
Later in the episode, Johhny meets up with his friends and they start talking to him about the trip, and his friend actually throws out a joke about Ella's weight.
超哥，你 Ella 这个体型是你够得着吗？不是，到时候你在下边真压的，你要喘不气的呀。
也不是，我也不是，减肥很容易啊，控制体型很容易啊，是吧？我最起码我35了，我现在
也没发展成龙哥这样的。
And then they all laughed about it, like no one took offense. And honestly, this is a really nice thing to see, people being real with each other, cracking jokes. Especially because these days everyone's so sensitive. Like Johhny and his friends hanging out reminded me of my Discord with all my friends when we all rag on each other and play League of Legends. Like I really enjoyed seeing this because it restored my faith in humanity. And then later in the episode, we learned that Ella likes to dress up for Johhny. They like to cosplay together, and she dresses up like the Setsi Jutsu from Naruto. She tries her best to cosplay for a man, and I think that that's a really sweet thing to do because I'm sure she feels some kind of way about her body, and I think that it takes courage to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation or cosplay when you're not very confident with your body. So mad respect to her for that. To be honest, she doesn't look like the Setsi Jutsu from Naruto as much as Sailor Moon, and Johhny even says that too. Then Ella says that she's really excited for them to cosplay together when he gets over to Idaho, and he says that he's excited for that too. And overall, at this point, I think we're all just waiting for them to meet in real life and see a lot of things. The question that I have is Johhny still going to be attracted to her in real life versus video call? How is he going to adjust to farm life? What is he going to think about her when he meets her in real life? They did a really good job with casting this season. I'm excited to review every single couple. A lot of them are dog water. Some of them seem pretty chill. So we're gonna get to it in the videos later on, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. Comment below, subscribe. Let's be friends. Follow me on Twitch and on Instagram right now.